My brother was the life of every room he walked into. You couldn't help but look at him. You couldn't help but be attracted to him as a person, his smile, his personality.
I was fortunate enough to be able to call him my best friend.
He loved his family, and he loved his dogs, and he loved his friends.
He was a bright young man. He was a funny young man. He was a Division I scholarship athlete. You know, he made the decision to get into a vehicle with somebody, and he's no longer with us.
I was at a night in the country with some friends. It's a local festival about an hour from Reno, and it happens every year. I don't really know how everything went down, but there ended up being a competition of who could chug the most whiskey out of a bottle. I guess I was up and fine for about 5 minutes. I mean, I was telling everyone, yeah, I'm fine. Things are good. And then someone turned their back for like 5 minutes, and then they looked again, and I was on the ground. I was admitted to the ICU, and I was unconscious for another 24 hours. The doctors told me that I shouldn't have made it. They asked if I was trying to kill myself by doing that. It's scary to look back on it. It's also sort of embarrassing. I mean, like, how could I have let it get that far? It's changed my habits a lot. I mean, I hadn't ever drank that much before, obviously, but yeah, it's more one drink per outing. Based on the comments that I've gotten on my story, parents don't realize that what their kids are doing it to. Like, I mean, I got comments saying, like, my kid would never do that. And I mean, honestly, my parents probably said the same thing.
He was just like a great, dependable, I think he was just like the epitome of a friend. Like, he just knew how to be there for someone. When you needed someone to be there for you, he was the person you'd want to be there. He was a D1 athlete on scholarship, played lacrosse, going to school for pre-law, like the only freshman college student to be invited to be at the DA's interns. Like, he wasn't one of those people like that would risk all the things that he spent 19 years working for.
There's an expectation that, you know, there's certain people who, because of their behavior, because of the things that they do, ultimately at some point down the road, they're going to end up in a bad spot. But I think Edward showed that it could be anybody.
My brother was at a party. He was getting ready to leave to go back for his sophomore year of college. He was at a party with his friends, like a mile from our house, and one of his friends convinced him to leave. He didn't want to, and he left, got into a car with two people obviously they went to school together, they were been friends for years, but he had no idea that they had been drinking or like were drinking while in the car. He gets in the car, he's in the car for less than 30 seconds. The car hits 94 miles per hour on a curve, flips, and that was it. The driver survived. The guy in the front seat passed away. My brother was the back middle, and he passed away.
That incident hit me hard because I'd known Eddie since he was 9 years old. When you know the background of the story and what occurred and the fact that he just happened to be a passenger, was not under the influence, that's the kind of thing that it can make you angry.
I think if he did it again, like if my brother were to have the opportunity, if he were to replay that scenario, I think that he still would have trusted his friend. Didn't think his friend was like not gonna put his life in danger. The driver also denied knowing my brother. I think it's hard because my family and the other family whose son was lost, like they were hoping for some type of sorry or like an apology, and that never occurred. And I know that's hard because it was an accident, but when you bump into someone on the street, the first thing you say is, "Oh, I'm sorry."
One of the beautiful things that has come out of Edward's unfortunate death is the Edward Taylor Coombs Foundation.
After my brother passed, people started donating, I think it's customary to give money to people after someone passes away. And we were like, no, we're gonna use that money to make sure that no one has to go through what we've been through, or that people know that this is not the end of Edward's life.
And over the last 5 years, the foundation has raised close to $100,000 that they have given away to high school students.
We focus on giving scholarships to student athletes and also people who need that extra push to make their dreams come true.
And their whole basis, everything that they do is based upon students making wise decisions.
I think that Mr. Williams as a principal does an amazing job of being relatable and giving students all the information that he can.
I was a senior here at Hatboro Horsham High School when one of my classmates back in 1993 was actually hit by a drunk driver. The week leading up to the prom, we get a vehicle that has been involved in a drunk driving accident, and it sits right in the front of the building. And it's a constant visual for kids as they come in and leave school, and for parents and everybody else. So when we look at some of the programs and stuff that we've put in place, one of the biggest probably for us has been our post-prom party. What we wanted to do was try to create an event that gave them an excuse. And it's a major event. It's a $30,000 event. That kind of commitment, that type of financial commitment is something that is minuscule compared to standing in a coffin, standing in front of somebody and giving their mom and dad hugs and kisses and saying, I'm sorry for your loss.
Only way to really describe him is a kind soul. He never had anything bad to say about anyone.
He was a landscape architecture student at Temple University, and he loved what he was doing. And he was kind of like a quiet guy who really loved nature and had a really good sense of humor.
Cheech's way of introducing himself at Temple parties would be someone would come up to him, or take that back. He'd go up to other people and be like, hey, my name's Ciammetti, like spaghetti, but you can call me Cheech.
He was always cooking brownies. And when you walked into the house, even though he might not be in the kitchen, he would have been in another room or upstairs or whatever when it was cooking. There was the brownie smell, and you always knew Christian was there.
All right. Having fun? Yeah. Okay.
I'd gotten a text from him while we were at dinner, and it was obvious that he was intoxicated, but I thought nothing of it. And they had just gone through a breakup, so he was texting me about how he missed her and he loved her. And it was just obvious to me he was using alcohol to cope with his pain. And I honestly told him, I was just like, you know what, buddy, you're intoxicated, we'll talk tomorrow.
He had had a bad night. He made bad choices and was drinking a lot. And during some of it, he was drinking alone, so nobody really knows how much and what he drank.
Myself and 3 others found him unresponsive, had to call 911 as we took turns doing CPR.
He was brought to the hospital by ambulance and was on life support for 7 days.
Kind of put a lot of blame on yourself. He was my best friend. I was supposed to take care of him, I was supposed to be there for him, have his back, and now I'm a pallbearer, And I'm at 21 years old carrying my best friend out in a casket. I never saw it coming.
Don't Stall, Just Call is a tool for people to learn the symptoms of alcohol poisoning.
Don't Stall isn't about not drinking. You can enjoy yourself at college, just be careful.
Let's just give Temple as an example. If any student here can make the call for another friend who's underage, and they won't get in trouble, but they will probably have to go to some alcohol awareness classes. When you see somebody that is showing these signs, to call and get help. I really am hoping that Don't Stall, Just Call can work towards is helping change the culture. I believe that we can do it. I do believe we can do it. Make the choice, make the change the culture, change it for your children, change it for your brothers and sisters.
That's the whole point of that initiative. It's like bring awareness to alcohol poisoning and just like binge drinking, you know? It doesn't have to happen like this. You can go out and enjoy yourself with a few drinks or not drink at all.
We've all been there. People drink. We can't get rid of drinking. That's just a fact of life. But we can all be wiser about what's going on, you know, who's around us, watching our friends. It's all about everyone watching out for each other.
Even if it's not your friend, just make a phone call, you know. Save countless others' heartbreak by simply making a phone call.
Get help for your friend as well if you think your friend's going down the wrong path and making habitually bad choices. It's really important to tell someone.
Students need to realize that it can happen to them, and parents need to realize that their kid could possibly be doing this too.
You know, giving kids just a reality check that you're not invincible. That at any point in time, you know, one bad decision, one poor decision, one more drink, you know, could unfortunately end your life.